I want to show the whole world why I want to be the face of boxing, or why I'm going to become the face of boxing. That gives the best fights possible, and everybody's going to want to watch.
Everybody wants to see it. And today's guest is a monster. David, the Mexican monster, Benavidez.
You already know. Best in the biz.
Former two-time super middleweight champion and WBA light heavyweight champion of the world.
I want to show the whole world why I want to be the face of boxing.
See the vibe? It's work time, baby.
My first time headlining Cinco de Mayo weekend. I'm going to give the fans a great fight.
You ain't training how long? You fucking doing great in me.
These fights, they're won in the gym.
No matter how long you stop boxing, you can't leave this sport for too long. You got like 10 rounds already, bro. You about to make a comeback. Some good work, bro.
Hey, listen, man. Cinco de Mayo, that's what we set on. Cinco de Mayo is my brother Benavidez do his thing. Ramirez, you ready, man?
Do Cinco de Mayo. I'm about to go up there and take that man's 2 titles and add them to my collection.
Come on, Zurdo, let's go. Time.
Just my mentality since I've been a little kid. I think, you know, my favorite thing to watch as a little kid were the war movies like 300, Troy, Gladiator. My dad made me train since a little kid and like some crazy workouts since a little kid, and I always gravitated towards that. So every time I look at boxing, I don't look at it as a sport. I see it as kill or be killed. Because symbolically, if you lose a fight, that's what happens. Your career dies a little bit. They try to pay you less money. You go all the way to the back of the line. So I see it like that, bro. Like I don't see it as a sport. You know, a lot of people see it as a, you know, punch, move around. I don't see it like that, bro. I'm in there. I'm trying to mess you up every single round, because if I don't do that to you, you're gonna try to do that to me. So I'll be.
The David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. Break that fight down for me. Who do you got?
Man, David Benavidez, he's a beast. He's like a giant, and he'll even take punches. Like there's a lot of things that just don't face him in the ring. I feel like he's just gonna come out there, do what he's been doing in all his past fights, and he's either gonna end in a knockout or the other guy's gonna get beat.
Cinco de Mayo weekend is gearing up for one of the biggest fights in Mexican boxing history. The Mexican monster is on the verge of boxing greatness as he prepares to take on Zurdo Ramirez and become a 3-division world champion. Being one of the toughest and most disciplined boxers to ever fight in the boxing ring, the Mexican monster is slowly etching to boxing greatness and possibly a future Hall of Fame status. In his path, however, stands Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, a man who has a deep history with David. And while almost everyone favors Benavidez to easily win this fight, the status from Zurdo's gym suggests that it's not going to be an easy night for the Mexican monster.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I think he will do great because he's a big guy, he's strong. It's interesting to see him in 175. I mean, I want to see him with the best, and I think he can be a world champion. He's my friend, but in the ring, we want to fight with the best, right? And he's one of the best, and I want to fight with the best too. It will be exciting in the ring because he's two Mexicans in the ring. I mean, it's exciting, and I have a lot of respect for him, for his family, the dad, and I know them, all of them will be training for so many years, but I mean, we agreed to fight each other, but eventually I think will happen.
Zurdo Ramirez has made his intentions clear about this fight. While he respects David and considers him a friend, he has no intention of taking his opponent lightly. His primary objective will be to defend his belt and prove to the world that no matter how good the opponent is, he possesses the skills to put them in place. Now, Zurdo Ramirez isn't the type of fighter to do interviews, but he was recently invited by Andre Ward to talk about the upcoming clash. Zurdo talked about the history between the two and how the fight was made. He casually mentioned that their sparring sessions were akin to pay-per-view events, and the upcoming clash on Cinco de Mayo is going to be a war. He wasn't afraid of Benavidez being familiar with his style and moves, and hinted that he's coming to bring his best to the ring on fight night. He promised the fans a spectacle and making it a memorable night.
You guys got history, and I'm going to get into the history in just a second, but how did this fight get made with you and David Benavidez?
Well, I think it'd be a war. We've been working a long time before, but I think as a fighter, we grew up, we did our different paths, but he's one of the greatest, I'm one of the greatest, and I think it'd be just a war. It's exciting for this fight.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the first time that you guys sparred was your training camp for your first world title against Arthur Abraham at 168, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So how did those rounds go, or how does the sparring go when you and David Benavidez get in there?
Well, it was a pay-per-view sparring, and then we knew one day we would fight each other, and I told him we need to make this fight happen one day, and because, I mean, it was a pay-per-view.
This is my last one for now, and I'm going to let Roy ask a question, but I never wanted to spar guys that I thought I might fight, right? You can never fully predict it. You never know how things are going to go, but that time is here now for you. He knows a lot about you. You know a lot about him. How are you going to make this work? And how do you fight a guy that has so many sparring rounds under his bag with you?
Well, I think it's different on the small gloves and no headgear. I think it'd be an amazing fight. And then, I mean, I want to put a great show. He want to put a great show. Both of us, we want to be a greatest. And then this is the fight that the boxing need to make it, right? This is the fight that all the fans need to see.
So you're not worried about the sparring?
No, I'm not.
Zurdo is 34, and at this age, taking on a fighter as dangerous as the Mexican Monster seems like a foolhardy decision. However, Zurdo dismissed the aches and pains of sparring at this age, implying that he feels like he's still in his prime and probably has more years to come before he retires. He revealed that he's been in the sport for 2 decades, and so it's not tough on him or his body to get ready for fights. Zurdo also talked about his training team and regimen, revealing that he's been putting in the minutes to strengthen Gus' body and develop his skills. It's not always you get to fight in life-changing matchups like this, and Zurdo wants to make the most of it.
Zurdo, how do you feel at 34 years of age, you know, and how is training camp different than maybe when you were in your 20s?
Well, it's been long ride in this sport. I've been in 20 years in this sport, and I feel amazing. I feel like I'm on my prime, but I think sooner or later I need to slow down on because my age too.
But do you feel like you're slowing down, or do you feel like you're right in your prime?
No, I feel right on my prime. Yeah. Strong, faster. I put a lot of hard work, and I feel really great.
Your coach, man, you've been with Julian Chua for a very long time. And what makes him good as a coach, and why does that relationship work with you two?
I mean, he's a smart guy, and we always have a good a chat. And then he's different because he has a lot of hungry to be like a Manny Pacquiao trainer, and he wants to be big in this sport. That it makes you like for us, it's like good matching because I want to be great. He want to be great. Then we put a lot of hard work in the gym, and then he's really intelligent guy.
Did anybody ever hurt anybody in the sparring?
Not really. Not really.
Not even body shots?
No.
No?
No body shot. No.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, it will be an amazing fight. I don't think we will need a ref in this fight because we're gonna throw a lot of punches, and it'd be a war.
How do you play?
Zurdo Ramirez seems confident about his chances in this matchup and promised a war. Roy Jones Jr., meanwhile, had an interesting analysis on how both fighters stand going into this fight. He believes David Benavidez will have no trouble moving up to cruiserweight because his body is naturally suited for 200 pounds. Jones explains that since Benavidez typically trains at weights over 200 pounds, carrying the extra size will not be an issue or a weight problem. Regarding the matchup, Jones notes that while Benavidez's high-volume style is formidable, his riddle remains unsolved. However, because opponent Gilberto Ramirez has sparred extensively with Benavidez, Jones suggests Ramirez possesses unique insight and familiarity that could potentially allow him to solve the puzzle of Benavidez's relentless pressure. In short, Jones believes Zurdo possesses the blueprint to beat Benavidez.
Your thoughts on this big cruiserweight showdown that we got May 2nd? It's about a week and a half out between three-time world champion Zurdo Ramirez and three-time world champion David Benavidez. Zurdo was once a super middleweight champion. He moved up to light heavy, and now he's at cruiser. And David Benavidez has pretty much terrorized the super middleweight and light heavyweight division just because of his height, his reach, his style, the pressure, the toughness, everything that he brings to the ring. But now David Benavidez is going up to cruiserweight. And I got questions about that jump from light heavy to cruiser. That's probably the only jump in weight that you haven't done, right? Light heavy to cruiser. But how is that in your mind? And how's that going to either help or hurt David Benavidez? And then how do you see this matchup? I see one guy has a certain gear, another guy has another type of gear, but that doesn't mean that the guy with the higher gear is going to win. Talk to me about this matchup between Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez.
Well, the first thing is David Benavidez always was a bigger guy. Mm-hmm. You know, he always came down to the weight class that he made. So him carrying 200 is nothing new to his body. He's used to that. His body is used to that. He's been there several times before. So I think the weight problem is definitely not an issue with David Benavidez. Zurdo, however, has basically carried himself up there too. And he's done well already. He's world champ, 2 world titles as a cruiserweight. So that's saying a lot about him too. And I just feel like both guys can carry the weight properly because of their build, their stature. I think both of them will do well carrying the weight. Zurdo, I have not seen Zurdo really deal with a volume puncher like Benavidez before. But the good thing for Zurdo is that because he's sparred with him before, he has the insight on him already. They have insight on each other. So one thing that I don't think we've seen from David is a guy who has sparred with him, who knew him already. Most guys are overwhelmed when they see him and see the volume and see the size. They're completely overwhelmed by it. Zurdo, on the other hand, knows it. Now, we've seen Zurdo suffer defeat before, so we know Zurdo can be beat. We know that riddle can be solved. We have not seen anybody solve the Benavidez riddle yet. Right. So for me, Zurdo has to prove that he can solve the riddle because we know his riddle has been solved before. And if anybody that can resolve it again is a person who knows him and has been in the ring with him already, which is Benavidez. So that's how I see it going.
Andre Ward also raised critical questions regarding Benavidez's transition to cruiserweight, wondering if his trademark high volume, speed, and conditioning will remain effective at a higher weight class. He noted that while some fighters thrive after moving up, others lose the qualities that made them elite. In David's case, it's his speed and agility he's so well known for. Despite these uncertainties, Ward acknowledged Benavidez's age advantage and less miles compared to Gilberto Ramirez. Ultimately, Ward gave Benavidez a slight edge, favoring him at 60-40 or 65-35. He attributed this to Benavidez's undefeated status and his ability to mentally and physically wear down opponents until they eventually break.
I think the question that I have about David Benavidez is how you gonna carry that weight. Is the volume still gonna be as fast and as loud and as strong as it normally is, right? How's your conditioning gonna be? Because all move ups are not the same. Sometimes people move up and it's like, man, that weight class fits you just right. You should have moved up a long time ago. Then other times it's like, you're not the same. You're not the same fighter up here as you were down there. So that's the question I have with Benavidez. How is he going to carry that weight? Is the volume going to be the way that it was previously at super middleweight, light heavyweight? And is the conditioning going to be there? If it is, he's
Dre.
Go ahead. Talk to me.
Most of his training is at that weight.
Yeah, over 200, really. Over 200,
exactly.
Really. Yeah.
Most of his training is at that weight. How could he possibly not carry it? How could he do all of his training pretty much at that weight? So how could he? Exactly. So how could he not be the same guy?
Sometimes, man. That's like that with everybody.
Not for him.
Everybody cutting up.
Not for him. Yeah, but not for him. He's cutting differently.
Well,
he's been a big guy the whole time.
We gonna see.
Okay.
Right?
If you ever see him outside of a fight, you understand that this dude, this is nothing for him. So
I'm guessing, but he might get 210, 215 or something like that. Maybe more. He just got a big frame.
I think he gets bigger.
Yeah, he got a big frame. So this may be the sweet spot for him. This may be just where he needs to be. But he's got the age advantage. He's younger. He's 29 years old. He's got less miles.
That's the big thing.
Right?
Yep.
He has never been beaten. So anytime you've been knocked down or beat, that you wear that. That's a scar you got to wear. He don't have that scar going into this fight.
None. But
Zurdo does. I like Zurdo's style. He's tall, he's rangy, and he's steady and consistent. He's got good punch selection. He's got good pop. I mean, he's a 3-time world champion for a reason. So if Zurdo Ramirez can weather those storms without taking too much punishment and getting hit too much and keep that thing tight into the back half of the stretch, he's got a shot to try to implement his style, which is pressure and just that grinding presence. But he also can box when he wants to as well. And I want to see how much he boxes and how much he fights, because in our interview with him, it sounded like he want to do both all at the same time. And you can't do both all at the same time. You got to choose when to box and when to slug. And for David Benavidez, man, can he conquer another weight class? Can he go out there and become a 2-time cruiserweight champion and then a 5-time world champion on the Cinco de Mayo weekend just from one fight and one fight alone? That's the questions we have. So I don't have a prediction, but I think it's going to be a great fight that I give David Benavidez a slight edge to, right? This is a 60-40 situation for me, maybe a little bit more in his favor, maybe 65-35, but that's just because he hasn't lost. We haven't seen that blueprint. And even if guys have good rounds, they don't have good fights against him. Ultimately, they wear down mentally, physically, emotionally, and David Benavidez takes over, and he ultimately stops guys or beats them up and gets his hand raised. Will that happen again against 2-time cruiserweight champion Zurdo Ramirez on Cinco de Mayo?
David Benavidez is an incredible fighter, and his skills honed in the boxing gym and results in the ring are evidence of that. But what is his mentality going into fights that automatically gives him the edge over his opponents? Well, the Mexican Monster revealed that in his latest interview. David describes his boxing mentality as a kill or be killed philosophy. Influenced by war movies like 300 and Gladiator, he views the ring not as a sport, but as a battle for survival and career legacy. He believes a loss symbolically kills a fighter's career, leading to lower pay and loss of status. This drives his relentless, aggressive style, as he refuses to be beaten in front of his family. Furthermore, Benavidez expressed frustration with elite fighters who avoid tough matchups for business reasons, stressing that true legends are made by taking the greatest risks. He specifically took a dig at Canelo Alvarez, who has been sucking him ever since their rivalry at super middleweight.
Yeah, I'm coming to hurt you. It's like almost like me and Mace was watching a fight, and we was like, it's tunnel vision, mummy style. I'm coming to hurt you. that's what it looks like. And
what it is with me though is, it's just my mentality since I've been a little kid. I think, my favorite thing to watch as a little kid were the war movies like 300, Troy, Gladiator. My dad made me train since a little kid and like some crazy workouts since a little kid, and I always gravitated towards that. So every time I look at boxing, I don't look at it as a sport. I see it as kill or be killed. Because symbolically, if you lose a fight, that's what happens. Your career dies a little bit. They try to pay you less money. You go all the way to the back of the line. So I see it like that, bro. Like I don't see it as a sport. A lot of people see it as a, punch, move around. I don't see it like that, bro. I'm in there. I'm trying to mess you up every single round, because if I don't do that to you, you're gonna try to do that to me. So I'll be damned if I let you beat me up in front of my wife, in front of my kids, in front of all my people. So that's why I gotta fight like this. And it's never gonna change. It's always been like that, and it's always gonna be like that. But my thing that I'm mad about is, right, if you guys think you're the best in the world, why don't you fight the other best in the world and show the people, like, what the fuck? You guys are getting a lot of money. Like, what's the problem? Like, and then now it's like, oh no, people are businessmen. People don't want to fight other great fighters. Other fighters have to, you know what I mean? It's bullshit to me, you know?
Yeah,
and, you know,
you're right.
It's pissing me off because these guys are getting some big money fighting some bums.
Right.
You know what I mean? When Canelo fought, fucking, what's his name? That guy before Terrence Crawford, I think he got like 150 million for that. Like, bro, like 150 million for that, and that dude ran for 12 rounds and Canelo threw like 10 punches.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if they're getting that much money, bro, let's give the fans what they, you know, the fights at least make it worth it. You know what I mean? What's the problem?
Finally, in an interview with Ariel Helwani, the Mexican Monster expressed immense pride in fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend, a primetime slot traditionally reserved for boxing's biggest legends. He noted the historical significance of the event as it marks the first time 2 Mexican fighters will compete for the cruiserweight world title. Benavidez views this fight against Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez as a pivotal moment to transcend his current status and become the face of boxing. Feeling physically peak and exceptionally motivated, he highlighted that his discipline in maintaining weight ahead of the move to cruiserweight has provided him with extra energy and speed, which he believes will be the deciding factor in his quest for greatness.
First time fighting on Cinco de Mayo weekend, you're proud of your Mexican heritage, as is Zurdo. What does this mean to you, getting this opportunity? The best have fought on this particular weekend. For you to now get that shot, prime time, the fight in Las Vegas, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, it definitely means the world to me. I've been putting in work for 27 years. I've been professional 13 years. My first time I won a world title, I was 20 years old. I'm 29 years old now. I'm facing Zurdo Ramirez for 2 more titles, and it couldn't have happened on a better day. Cinco de Mayo, and also we're making history because this is the first time there's going to be a Mexican championship fight with 2 Mexicans on Cinco de Mayo in the cruiserweight division. So it's a big deal for me, and I think this is where this is the time of my life, my career, where I finally passed that threshold to get through that and become the face of boxing.
Oh man, so that's how you're viewing this. This is that moment. This is the new the beginning of that new chapter in your career.
Yeah, this is exactly how I'm seeing it. And you know, you could, just by me talking about this, you could see how motivated I am. And you know, I put everything into this. And you know what also guarantees me that I'm gonna have a great performance is, bro, I've been on weight since like last week, not even trying to get on weight. So already a weight cut, you know, is a weight cut. It takes some out of you, but like when you don't have to deal with the weight cut, I'm gonna have all that extra energy that I usually put in to make to the weight cut. I'm gonna have it I'm just gonna be able to reserve it and just use it into the fight. So now I'm very excited for this fight. I'm also gonna be bringing, I think this is the first time since James Toney that there's gonna be so much this amount of speed in the fight, because I'm one of the fastest fighters in boxing today. So I'm gonna bring some great speed, some great power, great body shots, and you know, just all around a great display of boxing.
Can't wait.
Benavidez looks and feels prepared for the clash with Zurdo Ramirez. It's a massive moment for the 29-year-old, and he plans to make the most of it, but we'd love to hear your thoughts and predictions for this fight. Can the Mexican Monster become the face of boxing? Who do you want to see him fight next? Let me know in the comments. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.